Firefighting is dangerous work. That was proven again today in this morning's explosion and fire in San Francisco. It happened in the outer Sunset on 22nd Avenue between Noriega and Moraga. The blast was so strong it knocked a home off its foundation. 3 homes were damaged in the fire. One person from one of the homes has burns and is in serious condition, but a firefighter was also hurt. Thankfully, minor injuries. This comes as our media partner, the San Francisco Standard, has a new article out revealing a different, more long-term risk faced by firefighters: cancer. A recent screening has given devastating news to some in the ranks. Joining us live now with more on the story, SF Standard data reporter Noah Boston. Noah, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So your article talked about a recent cancer screening. Tell us about it. Was it done on all firefighters, active, retired?
Yeah, that's right. So the department recently screened about 1,400 people. So this included people over 35 years old, current firefighters, retired firefighters, and some spouses of firefighters as well.
What prompted that, or is that a regular thing?
No, so this was a first of its kind event for the department, as I understand, and it's really prompted because the fire department here in San Francisco and fire departments across the country have really struggled with cancer among their members. Firefighters are at higher risk than the general public of contracting cancer.
So out of the 1,400, I think you said, what were the findings?
Yes, so 9 people showed signs of potentially having cancer in this screening. This isn't a firm diagnosis. They will need to follow up for additional testing. But we do know that all 9 of those people are over 50 years old. We don't have a lot of additional detail. We know that at least 3 of them were retired firefighters who used to work on the suppression side at the department.
Okay. Right, because there's the question of, are there certain roles that put them in greater danger in terms of exposure? But is 9 out of 1,400 more than what scientists might expect in a random population of that size? I'm not sure if you looked into that.
Yeah, well, I can say that in terms of this specific event, the representatives of the fire department I spoke with, well, of course, they were, really devastated to find out that 9 people potentially have cancer. They actually said that they were concerned that the number could be even higher, and that, in other screenings in other cities, there have been higher rates above 1%. This was a little below 1%. So in a way, it was good news that the number wasn't larger.
Right. Noah, what are the additional cancer risks? You talked about this a little bit, but what are the additional risks faced by firefighters, right? As we look at the videos of fires, I mean, is it fire suppression, anything they use as part of that? Is it chemicals in the buildings that are released by fires? What do you think?
Yeah, so there's a whole collection of factors that contribute to this. I mean, one is just the material that the firefighters are coming into contact with. Especially nowadays, a lot of it's petroleum-based. That's changed in the last 30, 40 years. So the soot they can end up with on their bodies, that can potentially increase risk of cancer. But actually, surprisingly, the turnout gear, which is, the jacket and the pants that protect the firefighters from the fire, that in of itself actually has cancer or chemicals that can increase risk of cancer. And so even spending time just in that gear can in of itself, create a higher risk for the firefighters.
Wow. This leads me to wonder if they're inventing new types of turnout gear that might be a little safer,
Yeah. Well, and they are. And I spoke at the screening event last December with the chief of the department, and she told me that they have been purchasing gear that has lower rates of these chemicals that have been, more recently identified. And they're working towards eventually being able to get gear that has none of these chemicals in it. But the problem is, these chemicals are the same things that really protect you from the fire itself. So
right.
it's a big challenge to find a place in the middle here.
In the less than 30 seconds we have left, just real quickly, what kind of screening test was it? I understand it's something pretty novel.
Yeah, that's right. So it's called the Galleri multi-cancer screening test. And what the manufacturer says that it does is, it's a blood test, and it screens for about 50 types of cancer. And what it can show is that, are there signs in your body that might indicate that you could have cancer. And it's a way to do a broad test very quickly to see who should follow up.
All right. As you mentioned, more tests need to be done, right, for the 9 people, confirming tests. So hoping for the best for them. Noah, Boston, thank you so much.